52 parties contesting in the national elections. In the sixth parliament, only 14 political parties are represented. So there are many what you'd call smaller parties who want to contest for a seat or two. So every morning, 7:20, we are giving platform for these smaller parties to pitch to South Africans on what they can offer if elected into the National Assembly. And we're joined on the line this morning by Ronald. He's the chairperson of the Northern Cape Communities Movement, a Northern Cape umbrella body of associated organizations and community groups that are contesting on a national level. Ronald, thanks so much for joining us. Just briefly tell us what the NCCM is. It's a collection of member organizations made up of NGOs and community groups out of the Northern Cape.
Good morning, Lester, and good morning to your listeners. Yes, you are correct. The Northern Cape Communities Movement, NCCM, is a collection of community movements that has participated in 2021 in our local government. And we have fared very well to an extent where 9 municipalities out of the 26 that is in the Northern Cape have representation of the local community movements. And about 7 of them is in coalition governments within the Northern Cape. So we've came together as the community movements and formed this umbrella movement, which is called the Northern Cape Communities Movement, to participate on a provincial and a national level in order to give our people on the ground a direct voice in the assemblies, as well as the Northern Cape Provincial Legislature.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that actually. In 2021, there were a couple of residents' associations and community movements to contest in municipal elections. I know that, for example, in Knysna, the local residents' association there says, you know what, we're not going to go through political parties. We want a direct line and a seat at the table.
Exactly.
But you're contesting in a national election where you're going to need a couple of thousand votes to get at least a seat in the National Assembly. There's also other permutations of now independent candidates going to contest. When we talk about the direct issues of people in the Northern Cape, what are they for you?
I think if we look at the common issues, for instance, housing, there is a provincial national function that you are dealing with there. And then our people in most cases are expecting your municipal structures to give solutions to these problems, where your municipal is only giving you land in this issue. And then you have where, in our case, for instance, the governing party, will manipulate this whole housing issue to their own advantage and make your municipal or community movements look as if they are not able to provide solutions in that space. A second issue will, for instance, be if you look in your mineral space. The Northern Cape provides 69% of green energy for the first 5 bid windows that was there. The communities collectively own more than 15% of the electricity that is generated in the Northern Cape. Yet we are sitting with a situation where our municipalities is bankrupt. We're sitting with a situation that we are suffering in terms of, your load shedding. Who bakes bread? Who runs a bakery, bakes bread, and then don't take bread to his own house? So we are saying for the Northern Cape people that you are owners of electricity, so you should be able to benefit from that electricity, and your economy should grow from that. If we also look at mining, for instance, we have issues where we have the diamond belt that comes from your Kimberley diamond belt right through to Namakwa, where we sit with exploration mining for over 20 years. How do mining companies, get exploration licenses for 20 years? There's no community commitments. There's no social and labor plans. So the communities get absolutely nothing from these resources. And this is provincial and national functions. The signing of agreements for green energy is provincial and national functions. And our communities is completely excluded from these functions and these negotiations. And therefore, we are not finding any benefit from them. So we are saying with a direct voice for our communities we will be able to make sure that this benefit, comes to them and that they can build their economies in the Northern Cape for a future where our children can stay in the Northern Cape. We can create jobs in the Northern Cape, and we can make sure that our economy grows for our people.
So you're essentially running on one ticket, and that is direct representation of Northern Cape communities, whether it's the Gamagara community, whether it's the Namakwa community, whether it is the Dikhatlong community independent forum. You're running on one ticket, and that is for a direct voice for Northern Cape communities in National Parliament.
That ticket, yes, you are correct. That is our main aim. If we look at what have happened with the independent candidacy and the amendment to the electoral bill, we've worked with the New Nations movement as well as OSA, and we've always been saying that direct representation means that each community must have a voice. So if we look at the Northern Cape, there's 30 seats in the legislature. We have only 26 municipalities and 5 districts, meaning that each municipality can have a voice as well as each district. But if you look nationally, we just have over 205 municipalities, including your district municipalities. We've always said that those 200 seats for parliament should have been demarcated so that each municipality in this country will give their communities a direct voice. That is the ticket that we are running on, to say to our people, you will have a direct representation. You're no longer voting for somebody that you don't know who it is. Your vote goes to somebody that comes from your community, that represents the voice of your community. But secondly, we're also saying, if we look at constituency funding, remember, we as local parties, community movements, or any local party in a local government election don't get any funding to serve their constituencies. We have to serve them from our pocket, so to say. But on a provincial and national level, the fiscus is actually paying these political parties, which means every vote that people are giving have a rand value to it. And every quarter, these people are getting paid based on the number of votes that they get. But we don't see that translating back into communities. We don't see our small communities benefiting of this constituency funding. You will find the big parties have in your Kimberley or Uppington, they have a small constituency office. But there's nothing that's coming back except a t-shirt and a bowl of food now and then. And we are saying that this money must be distributed based on the percentage that our communities support us. And on that basis, the communities can actually get the value in terms of service from the political representatives that they are having. So
Ronald,
that is also that we are saying to our communities.
Ronald, the Northern Cape is, of course, the largest province by size, the smallest by population, just 1.3 million people. The city of Cape Town alone is, 5 million people. Do you think that there's enough representation in the national conversation of what happens in the Northern Cape?
Now that 5 million people that you are having in Cape Town, of that 5 million people, I can guarantee you close to 1 million of those people is coming from the Northern Cape, or they have their roots in the Northern Cape. The Northern Cape has been for many years the province that has exported its people into other provinces for work, and those people have went there and they went to stay there. They started families there. We are saying as our hashtag, send your vote home. Ons vote huis toe. We are saying to the people of the Northern Cape, in Cape Town, in Joburg, in PE, take this opportunity to give the Northern Cape a voice so that the Northern Cape can be rebuilt and our people and our children of the future can stay in the Northern Cape. They can benefit of the resources and the land of the Northern Cape so that the Northern Cape can become one of those provinces that going forward in this country.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Let's talk about how we're building the capacity. And there's nothing wrong with smaller municipalities in the Northern Cape or any other so-called rural province. But if you have a graduate who goes to, and I know there is the New Solplaatje University in the Northern Cape, but if you're going outside of the province and you're going to study, and you say, for example, studying a BCom year in Cape Town and you have an accounting degree, what is attracting a young chartered accountant back to, say, a municipality in Kuruman, where you need that expertise. And yes, we do need skill, particularly on a municipal level. We need skilled professionals. What is attracting, for example, the municipality in Kuruman to attract that skilled chartered accountant back there if they've gone to Cape Town or Johannesburg or Gqeberha or Durban, where they've gone to study? And you know what? I like this big city life of a metro.
Yes.
What's attracting young professionals back?
I think we have to be honest that the first thing that brings young professionals back into a province is job opportunities. Is, for instance, saying that SKA is sitting in Carnarvon, in Pixley, a massive project, but the bulk of the work, the skilled work, sits in Cape Town because the offices that control this is sitting in Cape Town. If we look at Kuruman, if we look at in terms of the iron and ore, if we look at Namakwa, the biggest zinc mines is sitting there. If we look at Siatemba, the largest copper mine is there. But where is this office situated? They are sitting in the big cities. We are, like I said to you, we are the biggest owner when it comes in terms of private electricity. The communities of the Northern Cape is owning more electricity than any other community in this country. We are making money from those ownership, but the bursaries that we give to our students to go and study is feeding other provinces, because those companies, for instance, your Mlilo Energy, your Total Energy, Juvi, all those companies that is working in the Northern Cape, they are sitting with the work in the bigger cities. We're saying they have to come back.
Ronald February, according to our listeners, you put forward a convincing argument, one of the smaller parties. They're a Northern Cape-focused community movement contesting in the national elections. I like your thoughts.